Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're comparing a 2021 Cadillac Escalade to a 2021 Chevy Tahoe High Country. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Chevy here in Murray for giving me some time with this Tahoe High Country. Check out their inventory in the link below. Let's get into the video. Now let's pop under the hoods of both of the vehicles. Starting over here with the Tahoe, we have a naturally aspirated 6.2 liter V8 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 14 around town and then 19 on the highway, with power outputs being 420 horsepower and then 460 pound-feet of torque. And guess what? We have the same exact powertrain over here in the Escalade. So from an under the hood perspective, they are both identical to each other. So there's the Escalade, there's the Tahoe. Now let's go over the front end of both the Tahoe and the Escalade. Starting over here with the Tahoe, notice just how massive the grille is here on the Tahoe, and then pay attention here to the lights. You've got the full LED lights, you have the accent light that comes down right here, parking sensors all along the front, you've got that venting there on the side which looks really good, High Country there in the grille, and then you've got the little air dam things here just down below. But pay attention to the shape of the lights. Look at the shape of the lights over here on the Escalade. Very similar, huh? But anyways, still got full LED lights here on the Escalade. You've got a giant accent light down below. Notice that the grille, absolutely massive, imposing. You've got the Cadillac logo in the center, parking sensors along the front end, but especially like the headlights, the shape and everything, very, very similar. Now coming on the side here, we've got two 75mm tires wrapped around 22-inch wheels on both of them. So that is all the same. Notice the Tahoe badge right there. But notice there is a design difference here with the wheels themselves. The Cadillac wheels look a little bit more elegant. And coming to the suspension, we've got the magnetic ride control plus air suspension. And guess what? We've got magnetic ride control plus air suspension over on the Tahoe as well. Notice even the mirrors here, very similar, they're the same. And then coming over to the door handles, there actually is a difference. So notice here on the Tahoe, you press that to lock it or unlock it, and then it's a regular door handle that you grab. But over here on the Escalade, that locks it, and then to unlock it, there's this little tab that you press, and then it has the soft closed doors. So there is that difference with them. And other than that, let's head to the rear. So I do want to mention something kind of strange. So the towing capacity over here on the Tahoe is 8,100 pounds. The Escalade's 7,500 pounds. Payload 1,419, payload 1,481 pounds. So we have a higher payload but lower towing capacity, and then we have a lower payload but higher towing capacity. Kind of weird. Now aside from that, let's actually pop in the back. We'll start over here with the Escalade, and popping into the back, you notice this has a very light colored interior. You've got these nice metallic plaques here on the bottom. Sorry, they're a little bit dusty. Got the AKG sound system, which is 36 speakers. You heard it. Anyways, notice here with the seats, you can raise and lower them via these buttons. This is for the third row, that's for the second row. The second row only lowers down, the third row does both functions. And then, yes, we do get some storage space underneath. And then coming over here to the Tahoe, notice that is identical. Still have metal plaques, just doesn't say Escalade or anything on it. And then notice here you've got the seat adjustment there and, well, a full power outlet right next to it. And, well, that is the back of the Tahoe, so we're gonna close her up. And then Escalade, close her up. Wait for it. Done. Now I'm sure you guys are wondering how many speakers the Tahoe has. Well, it has 10. 36, 10. Anyways, coming over here to the Tahoe, notice you've got these beautiful taillights. You guys know I'm a huge fan of the taillight design, and then how they do this part blacked out, so it kind of makes the taillight assembly look a little bit longer than it actually is, and then it also kind of like all connects with the window. I just think that looks good. Parking sensors all along the bottom. I really like the exhaust tips here on the Tahoe. I think they look cool and sporty. And yeah, that's the back end of the Tahoe. Now with the Escalade, you obviously have the really fancy taillights that do the cool animation where it just kind of like goes up to turn on. I think that's pretty nice. But notice just boxier design here with the back. You kind of have just like the Cadillac emblem with some silver there on the back, and then more badges down below. Parking sensors on the bottom, and then even the exhaust tip coverings are kind of squared off because again, they kind of go for a boxier look. But there's the back end. Now let's go over the door panels in both vehicles. We're gonna start over here with the Escalade. So notice you've got the really nice leather here at the top with the wood trim, random cloth, and then we've got more leather down this area. And yes, you're gonna notice there are speakers literally everywhere. Now the Escalade does have captain chairs, so notice you've got these really nice leather seats here. You've got the little Cadillac emblem on it, and then you've got your adjustments there at the bottom of the seat. This does have the screens on the back. If you want to see kind of more information on the screens and the climate controls, go check out my review on this Escalade. But let's quickly pop in and see if the space is any different. So sitting back here, got a good amount of headroom. Legroom's also good, and then we'll pop here into the third row, which is easy because this has captain chairs, so we can just kind of squeeze back here. And again, headroom's good, legroom's good. Got a cup holder here, got a little USB, and then notice we've got the suede here that's on the side, and then also that goes up to the headliner. Tons of vents everywhere, and yeah, this is the Escalade. So let's pop out now and head over to the Tahoe. It's actually not too bad getting out, and the running board helps out quite a bit. See ya. Oh, I forgot soft close. But anyways, coming over to the Tahoe right here. Notice we've got wood trim, and then you've got the leather here all over the door panel. No random cloth or anything like that. You've got a speaker there for the Bose sound system. And then same adjustments on the seat. We've got that for the high country. And then here are the seats themselves. So we've got full leather here. I like kind of like that design there on the inside. But let's pop in and see if it's any different. So now that we're in here, it feels identical space-wise. Notice this is a little bit different. We don't have TVs here on the back like in the Escalade, but you can get them as an option. And I've actually got to pop out to get into the third row. If you guys are wondering why, well, we've got to pull this latch here, and then it'll fold the seat down. And I mean, to be completely honest, we're just going to kind of crawl over the seat here. Okay, so now that we're here in the back, I have noticed something. It seems like there's less right legroom. Maybe I'm crazy, but it seems like the Escalade has a little bit more legroom for the back passengers, but headroom feels about the same. So here are the seats in the Escalade. So notice that you've got similar layout as what we have in the back with the leather and the cloth there, and then more leather. Heated, cooled seat controls are here on the door panel. We've got all of our window controls with the memory seat control, and then here are the seats at the front. So you've got the speaker there on the headrest. Kind of see that whole layout right there. Power adjustment, that's the massage seat function. And then down there you've got the pedal layout. Trailer brake control, parking brake. We've got our auto, 2-wheel high, 4-wheel high, and then that is kind of like a terrain mode right there, so you guys can't see it. Got our drive mode, and then you've got the adjustments there for the air suspension. The steering wheel is automatically adjustable, and there's one more look before we pop in. Now, if you want a more in-depth look at everything in the front of the Escalade, go check out my Escalade review. I'm just going to kind of give a brief overview here with the Escalade. So first off, you've got your volume controls right here. You've got the heated steering wheel button control. That's for the cruise control, kind of like the follow function. This is where the Super Cruise would be if it had it. This one doesn't have it. Notice the airbag cover is stitched with leather and all that nice stuff. There's wood trim down below. You've got paddles there on the back. Then you've got your normal stocks there for the light, and then the windshield wipers as well. We have the screen here on the side that shows you the fuel economy on the one menu and other vehicle information as well. You've got the other fuel economy stuff. Anyways, got the center screen. Notice it has the night vision, the AR camera, the map view, and then the gauge view that you can go. You press that, and then that'll change what the center stack looks like. So for example, we'll go over to the gauge view, and then it'll change it to that. I like the AR camera. I think that one looks the best. I think that's just a cool aesthetic right there. And then aside from that, remember we do have those different drive modes. So we've got our touring, sport, off-road, and our tow haul. And then for the air suspension, we've got our increased ground clearance, we've got our normal, and then we've got our entry exit. We'll just kind of leave it into the normal ground clearance mode for that whole setup. But that is the center screen. And then we have the actual infotainment system. So first off, let's look at the camera system here. So notice that you've got the bird's eye view, and then we also have the backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. And there are tons of different camera viewpoints. Notice you can do this kind of 360 view with the Escalade, so we can see different angles on it. That's a pretty neat function on it. You've got a front camera. I mean, there's literally camera angles for everything here on the Escalade. So from a camera perspective, it's extremely solid. So no complaints there. Now, as for the rest of the infotainment system, response time is great on this infotainment system. If you guys are wondering cool stuff that comes with it, I'm not trying to press phone tab. There we go. It has ambient lighting. That's cool. It's got Alexa. It's got wireless Apple CarPlay, which I have been using, which is another nice feature. It does have a Wi-Fi hotspot. I've also been using that here in the Escalade. But yeah, that's kind of like the whole infotainment system section. Climate controls just down here. Oh, and last thing, this is where you turn on the massaging seat. So you press that button on the side of the seat that I showed you, and then you can pop the massager on. Again, like I said, climate controls. We've got the shifter right here. You've got your drive, and then that lets you do the manual shift is the L. In front of it, we have an auto hold, auto stop start, and then lane departure, which you guys can't see because the shifter's in the way. Analog controls for the infotainment system, and then the radio controls. Wireless phone charger is that little hole right there. Cup holders, all that kind of stuff. You guys can see my stuff is kind of strewn throughout. And then we've got the center console right here, which does come with a cooler. It is refrigerated. It's very cold in there, which is nice. We will set it to be the 2 function right there, so it's extra cold. And then notice with the dash, just kind of the design there with the whole dash looks really nice. Wood trim down below. And then here is the whole glove box situation. And then finishing things up top, you guys already heard me say it in the back. We've got the suede headliner, panoramic sunroof with it. You've got the controls for the seats. The sunroof controls are all right there. And then we have the lights here at the top. And let's head to the Tahoe. Now here's the door panel in the front of the Tahoe High Country. So again, you've got the leather all over the door panel here with the wood trim that goes across. Got our door handle down below. We've got our window controls here in this area and the memory seat button. And then here are the seats. So notice it says High Country on it. And you can see the design there on the seats themselves. There's your adjustment. Again, it says High Country down below. Here's the pedal layout. And then we've got a bunch of controls here in this area. We've got a parking brake, lane departure, stability control, hill descent control right next to that with the parking sensor, and then the auto stop start. That's for the heads up display. Trailer brake controls, light controls are right here. And then we've got this for the drive line select, and then our drive mode select, and then also the air suspension selection. And yeah, there's one more look before we pop in. Now let's mainly go over the differences here in the Tahoe. So obviously there's kind of a whole different look here with the steering wheel, but most of the controls here on the steering wheel themselves are relatively the same, right? Like the heated steering wheel, like that with the cruise control system. But notice there's only one stock because you have the light controls over there on the side, and then you don't have that crazy digital screen, so you've got kind of an analog setup here. Now the only difference I found with the drive modes is instead of touring mode, it's called normal mode, and then there's an increased air suspension mode for like increased ground clearance, and then there's like a maximum ground clearance. So you have one more air suspension mode that the Escalade doesn't have, so that's kind of different. The dash, this is all different here in the High Country, so kind of notice that as well. And then down to the infotainment system, completely different look here, right? This kind of is like a tablet that's kind of been like plopped on, whereas the other one is like that huge screen again that goes all the way across. Response time's just as good with this one. And if we go to the camera system, notice that you get pretty much just as many viewpoints here with the Tahoe. It's just kind of a little bit of a different layout for the screen in terms of going to the different viewpoints with the Tahoe. But from a camera perspective, most of it is the same. It's not exactly the same. It doesn't have that cool like spinning view, but again, most of it is the same here with the Tahoe. And then notice the transmission selector, completely different. The Escalade obviously has the actual gear selector, whereas this has a bunch of buttons and tabs that you pull to get into the different gears. Some random leather right here. And then notice we've got analog controls for the infotainment system, and the climate controls still get heated and cooled seats here in the Tahoe. Wireless phone charger, just again a little bit of a different setup. A couple cup holders. And then here's the center console, and you can see the storage space in there. It's not refrigerated, sadly. And then coming over here and more leather on the dash. Notice you've got the glove box down there. And then finishing things up top, we just have a normal cloth headliner. Still get a panoramic sunroof here at the top. And then as for the seats, you can lower those down. Sunroof controls, all that's the same. And then I forgot to mention this in the Escalade, but the Escalade does have the camera mirror. This also has a camera mirror, so that is the same with both of them. Now let's get into pricing with both of the vehicles. So this Escalade stickers for about $109,000, and this Tahoe High Country stickers for about $79,000. Now, I do have to shout myself out a little bit. I will be doing a driving comparison between both of these, driving them back to back. So if you aren't subscribed, I recommend subscribing so that you can see that once that is posted. But let's kind of continue on with this video. Now, I want you guys to let me know in the comment section below if you would pick the Tahoe or the Escalade. It kind of seems to me, after going through both of them, that you have a bunch of utility here with the Tahoe. The Escalade has pretty much the same utility, you just have a little bit extra luxury, and that makes sense because, again, it's the luxury brand. So it looks a little bit more luxury. You have a little bit nicer interior, you have massaging seats, a little bit nicer sound system, nicer infotainment system, just kind of, again, more luxury stuff, but you have just as much utility there with the Tahoe, so it just depends on what you're looking for. That is going to sum things up for our video comparing this 2021 Chevy Tahoe High Country to this 2021 Cadillac Escalade. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Chevy here in Murray for giving me some time with this Tahoe. Check out the inventory link below. I'll see all of you in the next video.